Hey guys, this is the Revolutionary Male. My name is Alex, and today I'm going to go ahead and cover an article from Psychology Today entitled "Why Are Men Frustrated with Dating?" Written by the Attraction Doctor, believe it or not. And this article is actually almost 10 years old. It'll be 10 years old on April 3rd of 2022. This just goes to show you that the stuff that we discuss on this channel, the stuff that's discussed on all the other channels out there now that are dealing with modern relationships, modern dating, the issues that men struggle with in modern society, these things are not new. It's only recently with the prevalence and the explosion of this kind of content on YouTube and other social media platforms that we're starting to get a voice here in this area. And I'm a very new voice to this issue because I didn't really encounter this stuff until the last couple of years. So let's just get into the article, and I'll provide more kind of context and commentary as we go. Welcome back to the Attraction Doctor. Last week I discussed why women can't find a quote-unquote good man. In that article, I explained my hypothesis that women are stuck in a double bind between what they are told through modern social norms and their own biological motivation. This week I will discuss how that double bind for women may have resulted in a double bind for men as well. And I haven't read that article. And I might read that article so that I can discuss it on the channel. We'll see. I don't think I read it anyway. Although I might have done a video on that before. I honestly can't remember. But anyway, let's go ahead. Today, men are given confusing and contradictory advice. Socially, they are expected to be compliant, i.e., cooperative partners to women. However, they are also urged by women's sexual interest to maintain an attractive personality, i.e., assertive and ambitious. Unfortunately, men sometimes report that attempting to balance these notions does not result in satisfaction, happiness, or women's appreciation and respect. The men that I speak with, and who commented on my last post, lament about being in a no-win situation in modern dating. If they follow what society tells them to do, they often end up good guys who are taken advantage of, mistreated, and disrespected. In contrast, if they follow more assertive biological imperatives, they are labeled jerks and players who may get sexual gratification but not love or respect from what they would consider a good woman. Overall, they report that there is often little incentive for men to date and even less for them to consider long-term commitments. This is absolutely true. There is definitely a double bind in this area where if you are trying to do what you believe is right, what society tells you is right, which is to be a compliant, cooperative, subservient, submissive, supportive man to women, then you get categorized in specific ways by those same women. You get categorized as the friend, as the good guy, the nice guy, whatever. There's a variety of terminology to describe these men. But you don't actually get the sexual arouse sexual attraction in those women to even get to the point where you can remotely even qualify for a relationship with that same woman. Because you have to arouse her first. In order to ever get a relationship with a woman, you have to arouse her first. So if you can either do that, or you can arouse her first with all the qualities that arouse her, but then very likely not get the actual relationship with the kind of woman who would be good for a committed relationship. So it's a very difficult situation that most men find themselves in. And those are just the men who are lucky enough to get any attention from women whatsoever. And let's continue. In a previous article, I put forward the notion that individuals were not, quote-unquote, afraid to date. Rather, they simply did not have sufficient incentive to do so. We are all motivated to seek out rewards and avoid punishments. When rewards outweigh punishment, people perform behaviors. When punishments weigh more heavily, people avoid those same behaviors. Essentially, many men report that they find modern dating a primarily punishing affair. Changing social norms have allowed few avenues by which they can be both acceptable as a relationship partner and attractive as a sex partner. As a result, at least half of their needs are unfulfilled, regardless of the decision that they make. Exactly. It's incredibly punishing in the modern dating market. Any man who experiences it themselves will tell you this. Especially with the increased prevalence of online dating and social media, which has globalized the sexual marketplace, it has made even more men than ever before completely invisible to women. And that's not really addressed in this article, but I'm just telling you this to give you context for the stuff that the people kind of plugged into these things, we're talking about 10 years ago. I mean, that's how bad things have gotten. And they're only going to get worse. If men choose to follow social norms and become compliant as good guys, they may get a relationship partner. However, due to women's social versus biological double bind, these compliant men may also not be attractive to those same relationship partners. As a result, they may be punished by their girlfriend or wife's lack of sexual interest, being cheated on, or disrespected as a pushover. These men may further be regarded as just friends, expected to pay for all of the costs of a relationship without the physical and intimate benefits. So that's exactly it. You could try and be a good guy and be a compliant, supportive spouse to your girlfriend or your wife, but that just leads you to the place where you get divorced, or you're in a sexless marriage, or a sexless relationship, where all they do is nag you and pick at you and fight with you and argue with you and try to make your life miserable. In contrast, if men shun social pressures to be nice and follow what is biologically attractive, they have a higher likelihood of getting sexual partners. However, these men are often punished by being socially labeled as jerks, players, or even creeps, unfit for socially defined relationships. Furthermore, their tactics are often designed as sexist. Therefore, these men may get sex, but they often do not get love and respect. And if I were to tell men what to do, I would tell them to jump into that category. Treat women like dirt, and they will stick to you like mud. I think this is even more true today. And I think, in fact, the more men who are jerks or players or even creeps are the ones who are actually likely to get the most commitment from more women. I don't think that was exactly the case 10 years ago. That just shows you how much worse things have gotten in this regard, and that in order to even have an opportunity to get commitment, if that's what you want from a woman, you kind of have to behave this way. Overall, men in either case report also having a difficult time finding what they label attractive women for longer-term relationships. Men often define these women along evolutionary psychology lines. Women who are sexually selective, faithful, physically attractive, and have a pleasant, respectful disposition. Unfortunately, these qualities are again part of women's double bind, with social norms guiding them away from these biologically feminine characteristics. Not to mention the incredible epidemic of obesity. So, until a new equilibrium is reached in these evolving social norms, men have difficult choices to make. Essentially, they seem to have either appease social norms for relationships and acceptance, or evolved standards of attractiveness and get sexual fulfillment. Furthermore, they do so in a situation where women's own social instruction may reduce the very characteristics that many of these men desire. Given that, many men sit on the couch, plug in a video game, and opt out, just as behaviorism and Skinner might predict, which is a decision that I understand. I absolutely understand why a lot of men just completely go their own way. They tag themselves out of the dating market altogether, because it really isn't worth the effort that you have to put in to even get a minimum amount of validation, attention, reward of any kind. What some men do about it. Men have adapted and devised a number of strategies to make the best of these difficult options, including the following. Becoming attractive. One strategy adopted by some men is to become attractive, dominant, and sexually forward. These are the guys who are often labeled players, macks, and pickup artists. With this strategy, men are often able to fulfill their short-term sexual needs, especially within the modern, socially sanctioned climate of hookups and casual encounters. In fact, many of these men are former virgins and nice guys who previously could not get their physical needs addressed at all. Many of these tactics, however, primarily attract women who are focused on short-term flings with attractive men. Therefore, the relationship needs of the men using this strategy may be less fulfilled in the long run. Number 2, partnering carefully. Another strategy adopted by some men is to adhere to social norms and become a good guy or even domestic partner. These men often find relationships more easily. However, men who follow this strategy should pick their partner carefully. Men successful with this strategy attempt to find an honest and faithful partner who respects their needs and is grateful for their contributions. Again, though, men pursuing this strategy also report the need to stay vigilant for their partner's waning attraction, signs of cheating, and being taken for granted, much as women in traditional relationships do. With divorce a very real and punishing possibility, these men may also choose to think carefully before committing. Number 3, holding high standards. Yet other men continue to hold high standards for both themselves and their partners. They invest in their own attractiveness, value, and success. They also treat partners equitably according to their behavior, worth, and contributions to the relationship. These men further qualify and screen partners well, not selling themselves short for less than they deserve. This approach takes constant effort, though, both in the man maintaining his own standards and in his motivating and inspiring others to do so too. It also requires patience in searching for someone who can live up to those desired standards. However, these efforts are often met with a partner who is attracted to them, respectful, and attractive for them too. For more on that approach, see here, 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 and here, blah, blah, blah. Number 4, opting out. Finally, some men choose opting out as the best option for them. This is sometimes known as the men going their own way movement. It's not a movement. They're not organized politically in any real sense or trying to really achieve much of anything, at least as far as I can tell. Essentially, these are the guys who have been frustrated and punished to the point that they see no further incentive to relate. Rather than spending their efforts on material success to attract a partner, they focus on making themselves happy. Although these guys are often socially shamed as not growing up, in fact, they are arguably just reacting to the lack of outside motivation and taking care of themselves instead. In conclusion, we are in a very difficult time in history right now. It is a social flux period where many men and women are not satisfied socially and biologically. Outside of traditional and religious areas or very progressive arrangements, the majority of men and women are struggling. They are caught between conflicting social demands and biological motivations. Until something changes, the best we can all do is adapt and find our own unique way. Overall, dating for men also involves costs and trade-offs. Double binds and unknown frustrations, however, can be explained. The choices may not always be ideal, but some satisfaction can be obtained with a bit of knowledge. I wish you the best no matter what you choose. Just choose thoughtfully what is right for you. And it's actually pretty impressive to read an article like that that's written in such a way where it's not condescending or insulting to men. It's no shame language. There's no shame, insult, guilt, or the need to be right. It's just a complete and objective observation of the marketplace. And it's very instructive. And I think, the more that a lot of men kind of recognize what's happening and adapt to it in their own unique and specific way, the better that you can be as a man in this environment. The better off you can be, just like mental health wise, because it is incredibly punishing. And I can say that from my own experience dating in the modern climate. It can be incredibly punishing to be involved in this market whatsoever, in any level. So you have to put yourself first, what you need first, what you want first, because nobody else is going to do it. And I can, And I can guarantee you all those women are doing that. They're all putting themselves first. They don't give a damn about your struggles or your issues or your problems. They're only concerned about getting what they want. So let's follow their example. It's a good example to follow. Focus on what's best for you and you alone. Because I think a lot of men who are men today were never really raised to put themselves first. So let's go ahead. That's the end of the article, and that's all I'm going to say about this video, guys. If you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and hit the comment section below. If you like the video or dislike the video, please hit that. I often forget to remind you guys to hit the like button or the dislike button. Either way is good information for me to gather. If you have anything, if you want to contact me more directly, you can email me at therevolutionarymail@gmail.com. Again, folks, my name is Alex. I enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you guys during the next one.